Okay, so it's time to start with the 2023 draft prospect breakdowns, and it's only right that we start with the consensus first overall pick, Connor Bedard. And shocker, I also have him at number 1. He does deserve the hype, and in my opinion, he is a better draft prospect than McDavid. First up, it starts with the shot. It is disgusting. Arguably the best release I have ever seen by a prospect, and the accuracy is also nuts. What makes him so impressive is that he's not this Austin Matthews 6'3" unit that has a rocket of a shot. He's only 5'10". His wrist strength is insane. Like, watch this. He literally gets his shot blocked here, just powers through and ends up scoring it on that. Skating is probably the weakest part of his offensive game. He doesn't have elite top-end speed, but it's still good. He doesn't have that McDavid generational top-end speed, but his edge work and agility is still very good and will translate to the next level. As a passer, he's definitely more of a shoot-first player because he has that amazing shot, but he does have great vision and can make great anticipatory passes. At the WHL level, he was able to do a lot himself, but when he did have an open pass, he tended to make the right one. Defensively is where he has the most room to improve. No shocker here. For example, right now he turned over the puck, really doesn't back check at all or give a shit. Like right now, I'm not too concerned. I think it's more of an effort thing. And when he's in the NHL not putting up 2 points per game, he's going to care more about his defense. Early on, he will not be as good defensively as Adam Fantilli, not even close. But given the fight that this kid has, I think he will eventually step it up defensively. Overall, yes, I do believe that he is this generational talent. He should be scoring near 50 goals every single year. And for a player comparison, I'm actually going to go with David Pastrnak. 2 sick right-handed shots, but I think he will be a more complete player than Pasta offensively. Okay, so we got another 2023 NHL draft prospect breakdown, and today we are looking at the presumed number 1 U.S. prospect, Will Smith. Main strengths of Will Smith's game is by far both his hands and his passing ability. The dude genuinely might have the highest hockey IQ out of anybody in the draft besides Bedard. So smooth and unfazed under pressure and uses his elite hands and skating to really let the play develop until he sees a passing lane, and then he'll kill you. This dude is going to absolutely feast on the power play with his elite processing and passing with NHL talent. In terms of his shot, it's definitely not elite compared to this draft class, but I wouldn't call it a negative by any stretch. He can definitely score 25 to 30 goals a year if he reaches his peak. Again, you're getting this guy to pair him with an elite goal scorer, not for him to be the elite goal scorer. Skating, I would say he's a good skater. He has solid top-end speed, and I think his ability to move directions is really impressive. I've seen a lot of scouting reports say that he will become elite defensively. I don't really see it. He kind of just gives up on the back check most of the time. For example, number 2 right there results in a goal. Like, it was a common theme of the games that I watched on him that when he didn't have the puck on his stick, he kind of didn't really care that much about what else was going on. The overall conclusion I come with Will Smith is that he's kind of a boomer bust guy. If he reaches his peak, he can be a legitimate point per game 50+ assist guy. If that elite playmaking doesn't translate with an okay shot and defensively I have question marks, I don't know what he becomes. So overall, he does fall in that like 5th to 8th overall range in my opinion. The upside is very intriguing, but there definitely is some risk associated with him. Lastly, for a player comparison, give me Trevor Zegras. Great hands, great playmaker. It does have some defensive question marks, and they're both American. Okay, so we got another draft prospect breakdown video, and today we're looking at the biggest enigma of the entire draft, Matvei Michkov. And I use the word enigma because we have not seen this guy against his peers at the international stage in a year and a half, so we need to only go off what he did in Russia. What he did in the KHL this year was straight up historic. He had the highest points per game out of any player in their draft year. Yes, higher than Ovi, higher than Malkin. Starts, of course, with that shot. It is a fantastic shot. If Connor Bedard did not exist, it would be the best shot in the draft class, probably the best of the last 3 years. Powerful, it's accurate. He has the potential to score 50 goals. I mean, just look at the quick release on this play. Skating wise, he does not have elite top end speed. It'll be fine in the NHL, but he does have very good edges and is elusive. Great ability to move laterally and get defenders off balance, and when you combine that with his hands and shot, it's a deadly trio. Speaking of hands, he does have sick mitts similar to that of a fellow Russian, Nikita Kucherov. And this play right here literally knocked me off my socks. Just absolutely absolutely dangles around them, leading to a scoring chance. And I do think he actually is a pretty underrated passer. Look at this nasty saucer. He definitely looks to shoot first, but will make the open pass and can make it. He's a very creative player, which sometimes does lead to utter brilliance, but other times he does kind of try to force things as a result, and it leads to turnovers. But I do like his pace of play and ability to slow things down, reset, and then make a move, and then get creative with it and try to dangle around the defender like that and possibly score. On the defensive side, he is a negative, but he does have a very active stick when he wants to. For example, stick lift on that guy, and it eventually leads to a goal. But in terms of back checking, like guys like Ovi, he really doesn't care that much. For some reason, he skates around here and is completely not involved in the play, literally nowhere. Here's another example. He's on the break here, gets it stolen away, kind of just gives up instead of getting back in the play. As a result, this guy gets a head start on the back check, and it ends up leading in that guy shrieking down and scoring a goal. But again, you are drafting this dude for the goal scoring and not the defense. Like, Ovi was historically bad defensively, still had a top 10 career. Overall, I do think Michkov is top 4 in this draft class. He's better than Will Smith. I gotta watch Fantilli and Carlson before I say whether he's 2 or 3. And for a player comparison, I'll go Kirill Kaprizov. Okay, so after a great U18 World Juniors, Dalibor Dvorsky is skyrocketing up draft boards. I've seen him go like 6th or 7th in some mock drafts, and do I personally believe the hype? Not really, but I still do really like him as a prospect. Because while I don't think that he has insane upside that you expect at 5th or 6th overall, I think he does have a very high floor. Because what I love about Dvorsky is, as a center, he is already showing the possibilities of being a very capable defensive player. Most of the time, these 17, 18-year-olds do not care about defense. That is not the case with Dvorsky. He has a high compete level. Play, for example, he gets physical with the guy, shuts down any passing lane and deflects it. He's only 17 and he's already 6'1", 200 pounds. When he puts more weight on his frame, he's going to be a physical presence in the NHL. So I really like him defensively, but again, the upside offensively, I think, is a little bit limited. He's not the best skater, has very below average top end speed. Against NHL defensemen, he's going to have kind of a tough time beating them off the rush given that speed. His shot is his 1+. I think he'll be hovering around the mid-20s throughout his career, maybe be sniffing 30 goals one season. He shoots with very good accuracy. It's not the hardest shot, but it is accurate. I do have some question marks about his play driving in terms of 5-on-5 entering and exiting his own zone, but he is a very high IQ player, so I think he will solve it when he gets to the NHL. Hands-wise, I wouldn't say he has elite hands by any means, but they are serviceable. Overall, I think he'll project as a good second-line defensive center that can kill penalties, but would I use a top 6 or 7 pick on that? I don't know. For a player comparison, I'll go Philip Deneau. Okay, so we're back doing the prospect breakdowns, and today we have one of the top dogs in Adam Fantilli, and this dude is an utter stud. Like, you probably already heard it multiple times, but this dude would have went first overall the last 2 years. I think he might have went over Lafreniere. Skating-wise, he's a very good skater, has good top-end speed, and very good edges. It's definitely a positive in his game. He maybe doesn't have burner top-end speed, but it's definitely going to be good enough for the NHL, and it's only going to get better. Shooting-wise, he's a very fundamental, accurate, and hard shot. Definitely not on like a Bedard or Michkov level, but those are 2 like generational shots. That's obviously unfair to compare him to that. I think he's not going to be hitting 40 in his NHL career, but he'll consistently be in like the low to mid 30s. The one thing I maybe don't love about him right now is he tries to really power move everything, just go straight into the goaltender. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that at the next level. Also, when I watched him, he was very efficient at entering and exiting his own zone. He has fantastic hands. His overall ability to possess the puck and keep plays alive because of his good hands is insane. Very good playmaker, often finding the open person. Look at this play right here. Fantilli brings it in basically on a 3-on-1, sees that he doesn't have anything, slows it down, finds the man cutting down. Guy probably should have shot it immediately, but it was right on his stick. His IQ is just so smart. He's able to anticipate things. For example, this guy isn't even open, but it goes right on his stick. If that's an NHL first liner, they're probably putting that in. You hear a lot about him defensively, and rightfully so. His IQ and ability to predict passing lanes is really impressive for someone his age. You watch him on defense, and you just see that high compete level that you see in great two-way players. Not afraid to throw the body at all. Such a great stick when it comes to defense, effective stick lifts, and just taking the puck off guys. Yeah, I love Fantilli as a prospect. He's a very safe guy. I think he'll be an 80 to 90 point Selke finalist. And for a player comparison, I'll go with Anze Kopitar. Okay, so after watching him, David Reinbacher is pretty easily my #1 defenseman in the draft class, so let's review him. Like, in terms of offensive potential, Sandin Pellikar or Simashev might have him beat, but overall defenseman, it's clearly Reinbacher. here. Because this dude is defensively seasoned beyond his years. One thing that really impressed me was his defense off the rush or in transition right here, gets a stick on it, then boxes him out and takes the puck away. Right here, able to keep up with a much faster skater and then flattens him against the boards. And has a very active stick that can just shut down great chances by the opponents. I just personally cannot see his ability to read plays and get physical with the opponents not translating to the NHL. I saw a lot of criticism about his skating, and I think his form definitely does need work, but overall he's a pretty fluid skater for 6'2". He can really move it. Skating is definitely not a positive for him, but also not a negative, and he can effectively defend the rush, so I'm not worried about it. Shot-wise, it's a very good shot. He puts all 6'2" of them into it. And something that really impressed me with Reinbacher is, although he only scored 3 goals this year, basically all the shots that I saw from him were on net, which is obviously important for deflections or rebounds for your forwards. Don't think he's gonna be putting up 15 plus goals a year, but he's gonna be in that 10 to 15 range probably. Passing and playmaking, I wouldn't call him an elite creative playmaking defenseman, but he makes the open pass and puts it on the stick. And in terms of exiting the zone and breaking out for offense, he can make the long pass up to his forwards to create something. But yeah, overall, he is my #1 defenseman. I just can't see him busting because he's already so defensively sound. I think the offense will develop as well. For a player comparison, I'm gonna go with Ryan McDonagh. Okay, so we're back at it with the 2023 NHL Draft Prospect videos, and today we have Zach Benson, and honestly, I love this kid. He is tied with Will Smith for my #5 prospect. People are going to bring up his height, but basically everything this kid does is at a high level. This dude's passing and IQ is off the charts. Look at him thread the needle right there for a goal. There's basically no pass that Benson cannot make, and he does a very good job at leading his teammates into open space for goals. I just can't get over how well he sees the ice and his ability to anticipate the defense's next move. And when talking about playmaking, he definitely has the hands of an elite playmaker. He's kind of a wizard with the puck and makes plays out of nothing. Shooting wise, he doesn't have a hard shot given his stature, but he does have a very quick release that gives the goalie little time to react. He's not a Cole Caulfield, DeBrincat short sniper. He's much more of a playmaker, but if he pans out, he should be in the mid-30s. Skating wise, he doesn't have burners by any stretch, but it is okay. It's going to be fine in the NHL, but he makes up for it by having fantastic edges. What I love about him is his motor. You got to watch this play. He's right there. First off, gets the puck, does a little stick lift, actually loses it, doesn't give up, still chasing, still chasing. They finally get a turnover. Then he breaks out and scores it. You watch him and speak about that compete level. He battles on the boards and does not seem like he's 5'10" right there leading to the assist. He definitely needs to put on another 10 to 15 pounds. I think he's only like 165 right now, but that'll happen once he's in an NHL training program. But overall, I am very high on Benson. He's tied for my 5th best prospect in this draft. And for a player comparison, I'm going to go with Brad Marchand. I think he can be a pesky, skilled winger.